Starting an EdTech company isn't about having all the answers. It's about solving real problems. In this video, we're sharing what actually worked and what didn't as we built Yellowtail Tech.
The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that in order to build a successful company, you do not have to start with a 10-page business plan all figured out. Market research. At least in my case, in our case, we didn't have that. We don't even know how to
And
do
we
that.
have done it for other things, though.
Yeah. And by the way, this is a new way of building business, even taught at business schools. You do the work first, and then you build
The processes and
not only the processes, but you refine the business plan after.
yeah.
Because what they realize is the business plans always end up changing so much because there's so many assumptions.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any assumptions. We just started helping people, teaching people, doing things, and then throwing things at the wall. Some stick, some completely got messed up. For example, the first thing, one of the things we learned very fast. I remember we were driving. I remember who we were going to see, and Paloma said, "Juby, there's a problem with the training. Training is great, but there's no objective way to assess if a student is actually grasping the content." I'm like, well, we need to actually add a certification prep and make sure we have RTSA as a capstone of the program, because we didn't have that. The program started as a 3-month program, and now it's more like 8 months when you put in apprenticeship. And this is something we just saw as a problem, and then we were like, okay, what do we do with it? I remember when we started the Yellowtail Tech, we didn't even have an LMS, remember?
We barely knew what that was.
Paloma, I stumbled on a note where Paloma was saying, we need a platform where we keep all our videos and training. Paloma didn't even know that was called an LMS. So yeah, we learned a lot. We've made a lot of mistakes, and this was one of it, and not having a capstone. And when we installed that, the cert prep and the certification, it kept more students on point with their learning. It kept them honest with the timeline, and it also improved their readiness for the job.
Yeah.
So it solved. Sometimes you think you're solving one problem, it solves so many other issues. You see what I mean? So, and another mistakes, that was my mistake. We started with helping people with no IT background, right? That your brother, people we know, friends, these are the people we were helping. But in my business mind, I was like, if I can help people with no IT background, it would be even easier to help people with some IT background go from help desk,
who already have a foot in,
go from help desk to system administration,
which at that point was like doubling their income.
Yes. So on paper, that sounds amazing. It sounds like a slam dunk. They're gonna show up. They're gonna be more advanced. They're gonna understand the proposition, and they're gonna come in and they're gonna do better than someone with absolutely no IT background, which was absolutely wrong for one reason. The person who's already in the industry has so much baggage. The person who's already in the industry is not what they call a clean slate. So teaching that person is like climbing a hill, because they question everything in the process. They
think they can do it on their own.
They think they can do it on their own, which they can sometimes. They just don't. Because there's a big difference. Thinking you can do it and actually putting in the commitment and doing it is two different things. So we made the mistake of trying to advertise and cater to people with some IT background for a little bit. And then looking at the data, we realized, no, let's go back to the original mission, to the original avatar, which was you, meaning someone who is interested in IT, who has the, you know, who has what it takes, and then getting them into tech. So going back to that really actually solidify what we stand for in the marketplace. So you see, it sounded like a mistake, but to me, looking back, it's not.
It corrected us.
It not only corrected us, but it gave me also the resolution that the market we are serving is the right market to serve.
And it was big enough.
It's actually bigger.
Yeah.
There's more people wanting to get into tech than people in tech, because don't forget, the tech industry is growing.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And it's not only bigger for that, but also it's bigger because in terms of actual program catered to this group of people. There are not many programs specifically catered to people with no tech background, which is what we do. Our program is intentionally slower. It intentionally has more support. So all these things we've been iteratively improving to actually serve that particular market. So all these things, it's either we found out by accident or we moved away from the mission a little bit. We had to correct course, but these are the things we learned in passing, you know. And we also realized that certification matters for many reasons. Because before that, because we had some success with placing people with no certification, we didn't understand how much it matters. So now we know it matters for not only keeping people committed to a timeline, but it matters to help them cut through the noise. You know,
yeah.
In
we had some trivial headaches at the beginning too. Like, I remember our first cohort was a Saturday class.
Yes.
So these people would come for 4 hours, 5 hours on Saturdays, and then go with a boatload of things to do alone during the week. We used to even give them breakfast. That's how long that Saturday was. I used to lose my voice every Saturday.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of challenges. Like, if somebody didn't make it to class that one Saturday, they would feel completely lost. Imagine if we were talking about storage that week and you had to baptize your kid. Like, it was hard. So then we were trying to have makeup classes. And it was basically taxing on us.
Another mistake, I think we corrected, but I have to admit, I was part of the people who was making income claims, because when you make income claims, meaning you say, hey, you can earn this amount of money if you do my training, it just attracts the wrong student every time. And
I can remember some.
Yeah, so you have a bunch of people that are only here because they heard they can make this amount of money.
You have the real estate agent.
Exactly.
Who sees like, yeah, I make money, but that money is not certain. Like, I just come out of the 2008 crisis. So they're like, this can guarantee me 130, sign me up.
Yeah.
But they have zero interest in...
And the work and how interesting and exciting the industry is. They don't care about that.
Yeah, and there's even a certain type of person, especially if they're in a job where they're walking around, they're communicating, they have never had an office job.
Yeah.
and you tell them that now you're going to spend 8 hours sitting to study, they cannot do it.
Yeah.
And they have no interest for it.
So when we corrected the messaging around income claims, around guarantees, we started attracting different kind of students that are committed to the process, that are excited about the process, that are just in general there for the right genuinely there for the right reasons, to learn, to commit, to put in the work, and to actually grow a career that they think they're gonna love.
Yeah.
Not a transactional situation where, hey, I heard, this guy can help me get $100,000. Did you hear in my sentence? There's no learning. There's nothing that involved. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what, I take a responsibility for. We actually fell for that, but it definitely didn't help for us to be, a sustainable business on the long term. Attracting the right kind of students is the only thing that's sustainable. Because one thing I just realized, I told you this morning, next year, in about 6 months, we're gonna be 10 years old doing this. So to last long, you have to actually be serving the right market with the right message, which I think we kind of fine-tune to this.
And by the way, I think we have to mention how life changed our business. Like the pandemic changed us. We were under the belief that we had to have life lessons. We even had people beg us to record with a phone so that they could join from Miami or New York or wherever. And we were like, we don't have the setup. We don't think that you're going to thrive without that direct contact with the teacher. We were whiteboarding. So when the pandemic happened, fortunately, it found us a little open already. So we had already installed a camera system and projecting
a Zoom room
essentially, and with more technology than a regular Zoom call, right? And this allowed us to quickly pivot and be able to continue our classes because we couldn't have 30 people in our office. That wasn't even allowed in Maryland. So we quickly pivoted, and life demonstrated us that we were putting a limit on ourselves.
On our business.
For years. Just because we didn't believe that it was possible to do it in a different way.
And overnight, we moved from serving probably 10-mile radius to serving the whole United States, 5 different time zones. From Hawaii, we've trained people literally from Hawaii.
We've trained deployed military too.
All the way to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So that definitely sometimes you put limits on yourself. And lastly, one thing that's clear is we wouldn't be where we are, about to celebrate 10 years of helping people transition into tech, without a team, without people like Yana, without people like Thierry that's leading the charge. Because, I'm here putting together the vision, but you have to have people around you to actually help you deliver, you see? So this is one thing.
Also our teachers and TAs, which are mostly...
that's another thing we learned.
People that graduated from our program, and they are stoked to go help people that are transitioning just like they did in the months or years before.
Yeah. So another thing we learned is that, at least for our model, maybe it's not true for other institutions, having an internal training process to train people who went through our program to come back as instructors is the best thing we've ever installed in our company. More than 90%, I would say probably 95 to 96% of our instructors, they were trained by Yellowtail Tech. So all that is things we've learned on just by trying, just by testing, and just by believing and having a team around us. It worked, you know, and we're gonna keep building. We're gonna keep learning and making mistakes, but we're gonna actually learn from them and grow from them as well.